and the immediate release of all hostages. The vote comes 4 days after the United States vetoed a UN Security Council resolution calling for a ceasefire to halt Israel's bombardment of Gaza, which has killed over 18,000 Palestinians. Israel says Hamas and other groups in Gaza are still holding 138 hostages. During the 7-day truce in late November, Hamas released 105 hostages in exchange for 240 Palestinian women and children who were held in Israeli prisons. On Monday, relatives of some of the remaining Israeli hostages met with Israeli lawmakers at the Knesset. The Times of Israel reports the families, quote, called for the government to prioritize seeking an agreement for their release through diplomatic channels rather than pressing on with the military offensive in Gaza against Hamas, unquote. Family members are planning to hold a protest outside the Knesset today under the slogan, "The hostages have no time." We're joined right now by Netta Heyman Mina. Her 84-year-old mother, Ditza Heyman, was held hostage in Gaza and freed on November 28th. She'd been kidnapped on October 7th from her home on the kibbutz Nir Oz, near the border with Gaza, by Hamas. Netta Heyman is joining us from Haifa. She's a member of the Israeli chapter of Women Wage Peace. Netta, welcome to Democracy Now! I'm so sorry under these circumstances. Can you talk about what you're demanding?
We are demanding to release all the hostages. We are demanding from the Israeli government to put a deal on the table. Do not wait to Sinwar to offer a deal. We need the Israeli government to put a deal that will be a painful price. We will need to release a lot of Palestinian prisoners. We will need to do a lot of days of stop the fire stop. But the people that was taken in the 7th of October, the price is for them, and they deserve this price because the country was left them behind. It's been 67 days, I think, since the 7th in October, and they're still there. Yesterday, Amiram Cooper from Kibbutz Nir Oz it was his 85th birthday. 85 years old man that keeping hostage in Gaza, without medication, without enough food. Who can survive this?
There's been some discussion of Israel flooding the tunnels with salt water. Can you respond to this and what was said to Israeli lawmakers?
Listen to the invaders as they go to work on their slave oppressors.
What will happen to the hostages? We know part of them is in the tunnels.
Being big oppressors in the land.
In the tunnels.
And they're not even from there. They're just an invader.
Can you talk about the day that your mother was released? This was during the truce, during the temporary ceasefire, when more than 100 Hamas released more than 100 hostages. Where were you? How was your mother, Ditza Heyman?
That's a matrix.
It was very
you have it in your head, you're stuck in the matrix.
We wait for this for 53 days. She was hostage 53 days. And we wait for her to be in the list. Every day there was a list.
There's no God that is on this planet
the day after,
or anywhere else that is floating in the sky that gave them the right to do what they're doing right now.
We're very happy. She came back and she's okay. But there is a lot of people are still there. And this is what's important.
This is not about no God and all of that. This is about wickedness.
Because they have no
using
time.
a God psychology in order to make you believe in your mind
on Gaza
that what they're doing to these people and what is going on in Gaza
every bomb that
should be going on, because we have the right to bombard, kill, murder, beat up, rape, strip men, and look at the pilly as men. They sound very LGBTQ.
We must bring them home now. There is no time.
Do what they do to the Palestinians.
And can you talk more about how she was treated by Hamas, who she was held with, and also who your mom, 84 years old, Ditsa is, and talk about her role in the kibbutz near Oz.
So they have a right to do what they're doing to people on planet Earth. You say nothing.
3 days, it's her story, and I can't tell her condition, and because it's gonna be a danger for the people who left behind. She was 84 years old that lived all her adult life in the kibbutz. Near the border with Gaza. She built the kibbutz. She was from the founders of the kibbutz. She was she was a social worker for a long time. She worked until age of 80.
And Netta, if you can talk about your organization, Women Wage Peace, an organization that the slain activist Vivian Silver was also a part of, who was killed on one of the kibbutzes. They thought she was being held hostage, but ultimately, I guess they found DNA of her on the kibbutz.
Women Wage Peace is a movement, Israeli movement, of people from all of the rainbow, political rainbow. We are not and we ask for since Tzuk Eitan, since 2014, to make an agreement with the Palestinians. We doesn't tell what kind of agreement, but we believe that there is a possibility to talk with the Palestinians and to make an agreement that will bring us a peaceful life. We have a sisterhood movement, a Palestinian sisterhood movement that they call us themselves Women of the Sun. There are people, women from the West Bank and from Gaza as well. And we all believe that we can live here in peace.
In your opinion piece for Haaretz back in October, you wrote, "I'm furious at the Israeli government and the accursed members of the government who, because of them, the army was patrolling in the West Bank village of Hawara over the Sukkot holiday, instead of guarding and protecting my mother. I'm furious at this government that has for almost a year been doing everything they can to escalate the situation in the Gaza border area. This colossal failure, this chaos is on their shoulders, is their fault, as is the fact that even now, 4 days later, a government representative has still not visited most of the families of the hostages." That was in October. If you can talk about what is happening now with the Israeli government, how they're communicating with you. You gave a speech yesterday. Explain where you gave it and what your message was, Nita.
The Israeli government contact all the families and all the hostage families has contact with the government and with the army, but it took too long. Part of the families, it took almost 2 weeks until someone called them. Yesterday, we were Women Wage Peace were lighting Hanukkah candles in the hostages square in Tel Aviv Museum, and we call for release all the hostages and start a peace process after.
What would that peace process look like?
I don't know. I know that the Hamas must gone. They can't control Gaza, but Israel can't control Gaza as well. It will be I think it will need international involvement to establish something else in Gaza that maybe the Palestinian I don't know how to tell
authority, the Palestinian Authority
will take. Yes, the Palestinian Authority will take Gaza to establish something else to replace the Hamas control in Gaza.
Your final thoughts on President Biden and the United States vetoing the UN Security Council resolution calling for a ceasefire.
Imagine that.
I think it's
Creepy Joe.
Ceasefire for that we can release all the hostages.
The President of the United States.
The right to protect herself.
Voted against a ceasefire to save lives.
Came out from Gaza.
Wow.
But I
what a president.
We can destroy Gaza or erase Gaza.
Here we go
also,
now.
Innocent people in Gaza, not all of them from the Hamas.
Beast.
Well, Netta Heyman Mina, I want to thank you for being with us.